Up Monday. Every single Monday, I'm hosting a Man Up Monday. We will invite amazing guests, my co-host, and of course, PR responsible Carmelia will join. And today, guys, we're having a very, very, very interesting American profile joining where we're going to talk about what does it mean to be a real man? What's in it? To be a real man, what does that mean? And of course, we will take questions. We will have all of you guys engaging in this. Hey guys, what's up? Good to see you guys. Hey, Pachanda, all you guys. Kian, hey, what's up, Kian? Ed Smith, what's up, man? Good to see you guys. Nikolai is also joined. All right. You are not tough. Thank you very much for me not being tough. I love you guys. Such an intelligent comment. I love these. It's a group of people. The countryman from Nigeria. How are you, brother? Good to see you guys. All right, let me bring on board Carmelia, the co-host. I'm sure of that. If she was a man, she would be me. Looking forward, guys. Today you're in for a treat. Hello there, sister from another
Hey,
mother.
how are you?
How are you, Carmelia?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm so excited to be bringing in this particular guest who, by the way, he has been coined as, that's something you guys have in common. He's been coined as the Wolf of Wall Street. He has had a very colorful past. And he actually is, I'm waiting to hear some news because I met him in his studio in Fort Lauderdale and we did a live podcast. He was talking about his home experience because he's not completely out of the woodwork yet. So let's see if he's coming in now. We're going to be looking out for him as well.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's take a look. Where is he?
Let's do it. Let me see.
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you
And
guys.
to your point, I love the fact that, hey, guys, it's fine. People can have opinions, but really, we want to forward a conversation and talk about what really matters. And if you have a question about, our guest, if you have a question about how to, transform your life and be a man of your word and be a man to admire, I'm partially here because I do run Mike's Media. And if you are in the media and want Mike as a guest for your podcast, this is an opportunity to learn about what he can contribute and the brotherhood that you're building, right, Mike?
Yeah, man, that's an insane brotherhood. This morning we had one of our brothers from Germany doing his cold plunge. He took a trash can or a trash. What do you call these trash dumpsters in from his house? Cleaned it
Yeah,
and
literally, it's a trash can, a big one.
a big one, yeah. And he just took a
Big one.
cold plunge in that one. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are in it.
You
These
know
guys are
what
in
though?
it.
That shows like when there's a will, there's a way. And if you want to make an excuse, you're going to make one, right?
That's it.
He doesn't have a cold plunge, so he's going to make a damn cold plunge. You can do that in your tub. You can go, if you're in Canada, you can go do an ice angel in the friggin' snow. Like you can do whatever you want.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's what's called what I define as a real man. So we have boy psychology and man psychology, and this is such an interesting subject. Does he know, our guest, that he's going to come and join my live? All right. Camellia is lagging out a little bit here, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm going to keep you warm. So what we have here today is Man Up Monday, which is happening every single Monday. We're going to have a super interesting conversation with our guest today. Camellia, does he know that he has to come and join this live?
Yep, he knows that.
All right.
He knows he has to join this live. We confirmed. He has all the information. I talked to his assistant.
Okay.
It's 12:04, so
Yes.
let's just give him a few minutes.
All right.
All right.
While we're giving him a few minutes, you can reach out to him, Camellia. So everyone, hey guys, thank you for joining. Man Up Monday is a Monday show where we will invite in very interesting guests. And what we will do with these guests is that we will have conversations about what does it mean to be a man today? What do we expect from a man? What is not a man? How have you not been a man? How have you been a man? And discussing that, I think it's a very important thing because we have a lot of men out there, or let's call them boys dressed as men, who does not really understand what a man is. And I was one of them. I was one of them.
Mhm.
And that's why we want to have this Man Up Monday, to have all these great conversations that has to do with what does it mean to be a man. That could be a relationship, that could be failures, that could be business, that could be losing self-respect, that could be being a lazy fuck, that could be everything, could be a warrior. What does it mean to be a man? Are you a king? Are you a magician? Are you a lover? Are you a hero? What are you? What does that mean?
Absolutely. He did respond. He said, okay. Now, mind you, let me just give you some backstory. So, Ross Mandel, and he's completely fine with sharing his story, okay? He actually went to federal prison for 8 years. And in I think it's 2023, he was released into home confinement where he is now. He is somebody who's managed trillions of dollars. We're not talking like millions, lots and lots of money. And he actually has, I wouldn't say recovered, reconstructed and sort of reframed himself as well, like you, Mike. And he's now teaching men the mindset. Because I can't even imagine when we talk about adversity. I don't even want to know what would go on in a high level, high security federal
Oh
prison.
no, that's a different level. They're gonna learn consequences.
Yeah, there's a different level of discipline. And for,
Ah, here he
hey,
is.
Ross,
Hey, what's shaking, everybody?
your
What's
ears,
up?
your
There you
ears must
are.
have been burning because we were like talking about you and what's going on. And welcome to the Man Up Mondays. We are so grateful and so happy for you to be joining us. How are you today?
I'm very excited to be here. I'm a big fan of Mike, and fuck this and fuck that, and let's go. And I'm a big fan of Carmelia. She came into my studio in Delray Beach, and she was just amazing. We had an incredible podcast, and I'm waiting on you, Mike.
Oh, brother, for the first time, I really feel I have a real man with me.
Oh, yeah, I've been called many things, and real man is one of them. I had caveman is another one. So it's sort
Yeah,
of
there we go.
there's a
Yeah.
similarity, I think. You know what I'm saying? But I've had the privilege of hearing about you through the eyes of other people that know you, and they speak of you and really in a beautiful way. And so I love that. And then I stalked you a little bit, and I think that's the right word, right verbiage today. You're probably the only guy I ever stalked. But
Hey,
Carmeli,
that's an honor, man. That's an honor.
Yeah,
he's
thank
actually
you.
quite a good-looking man, Carmeli, isn't he?
Yeah, you should see him with his shirt off.
Listen,
All
Oh,
right,
by
you
the
guys.
know,
way, and maybe like Mike
Thank
would
you,
never
Ross.
be
Appreciate it,
embarrassed.
man. Thank you so much for the love.
and
Appreciate it, man.
and I followed, you the way you laid out your journey a little bit. You're a young man, correct? How old are you, Mike?
I'm 40 this April.
Okay, 40. I've done that 2.5 times plus. One and a half times plus. And Aries or Pisces?
Say again.
You're an
Aries
Aries?
or Pisces?
Aries.
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, a Taurus. Okay, the bull. What a shock. and and I love the way you express yourself. I love your obsession with becoming the best version that you can be. I coach men. I have a mastermind, and I get it. You're on the right path. You're doing the right things. Consistency and discipline take the place of motivation and all that kind of happy stuff.
Yeah.
You get it. You seem to get it. I love where you're at. It makes me look back to when I was, turning 40. I was a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
And I was managing billions, not trillions.
Okay, I thought it was trillions. My apologies.
If I was still in the game today that way, it would be trillions
Oh,
because I
wow.
was, I was really at the top of the food chain. I'm not going to say I sat at the big table, but I was definitely in the room. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I was a self-made killer. I was a disruptor. And
Yeah.
in that business, you got to be very careful. And I wasn't as careful as I should have been because I didn't commit any crime. My crime was that I figured out a way to go public, to take companies public for at a much better price, much less regulation, much more efficient, cool way with twice the result. And I thought that was a good thing, and I was celebrated for it. But the big boys like J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and the big banks, you know, I cost them, they say, roughly $100 billion
Wow.
in trading fees, commissions, profits, all that kind of stuff. And because about 200, after I went public in London the second time, I raised $1 billion. I bought 8 companies. I called it Sky Capital Enterprise. I took my fund public. 200 other companies followed me, including some of the biggest companies in the world. Like, I'll give you an example: Kohlberg, Kravis, and Roberts.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I was punished because when you go to prison, they teach you a lot of little prison things. I know you mentioned federal prison. I did 112 months in federal custody, about 7.5 years inside, about 2 years in home confinement. I'm now finishing probation, so you guys know I'm on my last leg. But they
Wow.
say they say don't fuck with somebody's money. So if a guy is stealing bananas from the chow hall and he's selling 3 bananas for $2, don't steal bananas and offer them for $1.50
Uh-huh.
because you're fucking with somebody's money. And so, uh,
That's a rule in there.
right, it's a rule in there, but it's also a rule in many other places like
Yeah, I
Wall
could
Street.
understand. Yeah.
I got in the way that companies that were going to go public through Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, etc., will followed my lead and went public in the London or in Belgium or in Dubai or in Hong Kong, all the places where they have stock exchanges. I actually created that footprint for regulated American companies, and it did cost a lot of money. And I will say this: they did try to put me out of business at first. They said regulator after regulator after regulator after regulator, including the IRS and the state and FINRA and SEC and everything. They made up fucking, alphabet to put me out. And I'm a tough kid, and they couldn't do that. And I'm really crafty in that business. I'm very good with raising money, managing money, sorting it all out, et cetera, growing money. And then they came at me. Barclays Bank came at me, a very famous, very successful CEO, sat me down at the Dorchester Hotel lobby and offered me 300 million for my company. So I
For
have to
what?
say they did try to first
300
put me
million.
out, then they tried to buy me out.
Okay.
And Mike, I had a case of the fuck this and fuck that. And I didn't realize who I was really speaking to because I already had 300 million. My company had 200 million cash and no debt.
Yeah.
I had 150 million. So I'm like, and I had the checkbook. It was my company. And I had full control. We had 4,100 employees at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I said, "What are you offering me?" I was very arrogant, and I didn't realize I was speaking to power, as my friend Andrew Cartwright said. And he said, He goes, "We're offering you a chance to walk away." I've replayed that tape in my head
Yeah.
500,000 times.
Yeah.
Because if I take that 300 million, I had to sign a deal with Barclays Bank. I would have been a consultant, a non-compete, all the nonsense that goes with these kind of things. But I would have ended up running Barclays Bank, and I would have now been retiring with a $9 billion private equity hedge fund, 2.5 billion, 3 billion of my own money, and all that kind of stuff. So, I learned that when you speak to power, you have to be mindful, thoughtful, respectful, and because there's always somebody bigger, stronger, better, richer, better looking. More muscular, thinner, better fighter. Just like with women, there's always a girl that's younger and hotter, and this and that, and so if you read scripture, God rewards the humble,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I always had a problem with.
Well,
So
Ross, just to share the
Wow.
audience, thank you for all of that. That was
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
And
I can't wait to meet you, Ross. I'm coming out soon. I can't wait to meet you, brother.
I'm excited. I'm,
yeah.
I'm working out because I'm getting ready for that arm wrestle. You know,
Hey man, Ross is a big dude. Let me just tell you, man. And I'm sure you had a lot of time to build your muscle as well. Just so that you guys understand what the conversation flow is going to be like. And Ross, both of you are going to be able to contribute greatly to this conversation. We really want to help men, and we want to talk through the journey from shame, collapse, rebuilding discipline, reputation, and now leadership. Okay. So we're going to start with the shame portion. And I'm going to direct this question to you first, Ross, as our guest. And then I definitely want our audience to hear Mike's story. For those who are listening in for the first time, it is Man Up Mondays. We are here live on Mike's channel, collaborating with myself, head of media, and our just incredible guest, Ross Mandel. So shame can either destroy a man or force him to grow. What was the moment when you realized, Ross, that you had to face it instead of outrun it?
I'll say this to you. So, shame is a very interesting concept to me. That's one of the things that I don't buy into. I don't think that anybody should be ashamed of anything. Listen, I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. I made a lot of mistakes. That's why they put erasers on pencils. Do you understand? People make mistakes. Famous, from literature, to err is human. Is that Shakespeare? To err is human. That's what it's all about, the human experience. And that's all we are. We're a bunch of spiritual beings living a very human material existence. And I really believe that and I understand it. So to me, shame is like a selfish, hiding place, and just like get over it. You have nothing to be ashamed of. We all fuck up. There's not one human being walking this planet that hasn't made terrible decisions, done disgraceful things, and that's it. And that's it. I recognized I had a big problem at one point, but I have an addictive personality. I'm an addict. I think like an addict, and I just did not want to face the fact that I was going to have to start over and let everybody in the world know that I suffered from this. Meanwhile, everybody already knew. We all think we have
Yeah.
these secrets, and everybody already knows everything. It's like pathetic. And so shame is not something that I suffer from, nor embarrassment, because I make mistakes. I'm a grown man today, and older maybe is wiser. But even when I was young, I was never ashamed. And but I also suffer from arrogance and a lack of humility. But you have to be able you have to be able to forgive yourself. You know what I mean?
That's fucking
I
classic.
love that, Ross. My
It's
man, I
really
love that.
true. I suffer from a terrible lack of humility. I used to go to AA meetings and say, when I was in early sobriety, I'd say, I pray for humility. And that's like not true. I hate humility. But God hands it to me left and right.
That's
I mean,
so. I love that. Okay. Wow.
it's a true, it's a truism. But I think shame and embarrassment, these are very selfish type of, havens for people that just don't man up. And I want you guys both to know I freaking love this man up idea. I would love to have stolen. I can't believe I didn't think of it first. You suck, the two of you.
No,
I
but
want
you're
man
part
up
of you're
Mondays.
now gonna be part of the movement. That's why you're
Yeah.
here. I mean, you're gonna so I love your context of shame because and your complete admission that what I don't know what that is because I'm too fucking arrogant to be shameful. But
It's true.
I mean, Mike, you often talk about this, and I would say for the average man, we're not talking to an average man, okay? Ross, you have never been average. A lot of men might not really, a lot of men really do suffer from shame or have that feeling of shame. That's the word that we can associate with things that we are embarrassed of, right? So Mike, can you speak to perhaps that moment where I know now you're not a man of shame. You went from feeling that way to now not even probably relating to that, but what can you share about your
No,
experience of that?
I can understand fully where Ross come from,
Yeah.
because Ross, I can imagine, has just owned it. That's why you can't be ashamed when you own your shit. You can't be
What?
ashamed when you own your shit. And that's what I call man psychology. And that's what the world is lacking. It is full of boy psychology. I'll tell you what. So I was ashamed until the day I became a man.
I love that.
Bec- because and I researched this so much in our listen. The problem we have in today's world, the reason why I'm throwing out so much, where people are like, "Oh, you're shaming people." I'm not. It's just the truth. It's you feeling shame because you're a little fucking brat. You're a little
Correct.
boy. And in our old ancestors, in all cornerstones of the world, this was the deal. as soon as a boy turned into an age where he had sexual attraction, the leader of the pack will be time to kill the boy. They will take him into a ceremony that will last, what do I know, 48 hours, 24 hours, sometimes even months. In Japan, it was months. They will take him in, give him immense pain, blow some hallucination into his nose, have a wise man to talk to him, and out came the boy, and the man was born. So he went from,
Wow.
he transcended, he transformed his consciousness from boy psychology to man psychology. So the where I woke up was when I realized I did this. I fucked this up. This was me. And in the moment I did that, I also knew I have the control. There's nothing I can be ashamed of. And shame is not a part of me today. I've worked it all out. And that's what I'm trying to preach now. And that's why I'm using my vocabulary on my Instagram, because I know there's a lot of boys looking like men watching at my channel. At one point, they'll be like, fuck this guy. I gotta sign up. And that's the entire trick bait.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about losing. A lot of men and women, actually, this conversation for everybody. When you lose everything, and in your case, Ross, let's say the biggest loss would have been freedom, right? Losing freedom. Forget the money. Like what was stripped away from you, or what did you remove as well from that experience?
You know, first they took away my reputation. I was incredibly successful. People respected me. I'm talking about people within the industry. I'm not
Sure.
talking about regular people. You know,
Yeah.
the Wall Street Journal would chase me around, and GQ, and CNBC, and Fox, etc. And I was proud of the fact. Here's how I look at life as a man. Okay, it's just good, maybe a good subject. Most men get up in the morning, they get dressed, they put on whatever their work outfits are. In my case, was suits and ties. The finest, the best. But it was just, that was the Wall Street way. If you didn't have money, you bought a cheap suit, and I've been in that situation too. And you show up, and basically, you spend a great deal of your life as a man trying to accomplish something in business. But for most men, it's just about getting paid, making a paycheck, a commission check, building a company, etc. I went into a field. I went down to Wall Street. I was a stockbroker for E.F. Hutton in 1983. It was the most prestigious training program for stockbrokers at that time in the world. E.F. Hutton was the second most renowned firm at the time, Merrill Lynch being the biggest. They had over 100,000 employees at the time. The CEO, the big dog. I never even met him at that time. Ended up doing a deal for me, and essentially working for me many years later. So that was something. But when I did bring when I was the first American to bring a regulated American company public on the London Stock Exchange, I had done something that nobody had ever done, ever, in that industry. And if you want to talk about an industry, that's where the real alpha guys go. That's why the motherfuckers go. The guys that in third grade were trying to get an A and would rat you out to the teacher for cheating because, he wanted to be, in the teacher's apple eye. These are the guys that went to the right schools, right private schools, the right colleges. They would join the right clubs. Many of them came from the right families, they had the right Protestant names, etc. And I went in. I was a young, drug addicted animal. I was a sales guy. I was the only non-professional in the 12 people that were accepted into my program in August of '83. Everybody was a lawyer, an accountant, or an MBA, and I was just a handbag salesman. And I literally got into the program through sheer force of will, and I'm good with people. I really enjoy people and chatting and all that kind of stuff. Make a long story short, you know, I knew I was in trouble when I first started. Everybody was so sophisticated, and I was just, trying to get through the day so I could figure out how to make a lot of money. So at night I could hang out with girls like Carmelia, and not have to wait online at Studio 54 and get the best table and drink the best champagne and be treated like a man rather than just some chump that was in a crowd. And so I accomplished something in that industry that today it still lives on. Nobody will say I didn't do what I did. They said I manipulated the whole London Stock Exchange. I was ultimately convicted of that, doing what they call pipe transactions. I was the first American, first anybody to bring a pipe transaction to the London Stock Exchange. Today, the banks do $36 billion worth of pipe transactions every single month.
No way.
Every month, private investment in public equity. How do you think the hotel chains didn't go zeroed out during
Well,
COVID?
wait a second, Russ. So what you did, you got convicted from. They're doing today on a big scale.
They were doing it then too in America, but on a smaller scale. I've always been not the first guy into something, except when I did go public there. I look for trends. I make sure that they're real and not just imaginatory, and then I see if I can make some money in it. I see if it makes sense, and
Yeah.
so that's why I went to Wall Street in the first place, because cold calling, telemarketing was just approved by the Federal Trade Commission for the first time in history. You could telemarket. You could cold call people just on the phone and say, what's shaking, calling from E.F. Hutton. You like to make money in the stock market 3-4 times a year. We isolate a very compelling situation. Do you buy stocks? Tell me what you own, how much. If I come to you with the best idea in the world, how much could you put in? Listen, I got nothing for you today. Don't worry about it. Put your checkbook down. I'm not asking for any. Zip your pockets up. I just want to offer you my track record, an introductory package, all that kind of stuff.
Damn,
And
that's
then,
good. You're good, bro. You're good.
yeah, about a week or two later, you'll get something in the mail. It's a beautiful package. To me, I thought it was they were the big dogs and number two in the world. And then I would, based on the information I got from you, I qualified you, I approached you with an opportunity, an investment opportunity. At one point, I became the largest exporter of American investment opportunities to non-Americans in the world. I'm
Wow.
proud of that. See,
Yeah.
I went into an industry which I'm telling you is the biggest of big dogs. I mean, the average fucking stockbroker makes close to $500,000 a year. Average. There's
Wow.
no other industry like that.
No.
I didn't go down to an industry where I wanted to be paid like a professional athlete. I had no interest in that. I wanted to own ball clubs. And in 1986, I was part of a group of guys on Wall Street that made an offer to buy the New York Mets. We didn't get it, obviously. They just won the World Series that year. But I'm just saying, I wanted to own a team. I didn't want to be like a ball player. But that's the psychology down there, and that's why those guys make so much money. 99% of all this, and I teach this every day, is here. That's where you earn money. That's where you achieve greatness. It's all done in your head, and then of course your actions. What do you do when you get up in the morning, Mike? You kill me, bro. You fucking kill me. 5 in the morning, he's in an ice bath. I mean, come on.
Four,
I
four.
mean, I can't keep. I'm too old for that shit.
No, don't do that, man. That's probably not
I already
healthy.
did that kind of stuff. I did
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You passed that, man. You passed
We
that.
used to go to the office at 3:15 in the morning and start
Yeah.
cold calling Europe because it was 5 hours later, and then Asia and South Africa and Australia and New Zealand, anywhere they spoke English, we would find you, and eventually I had teams of people doing that.
Wow.
So, shame is not something that I allow. There's nothing ever to be ashamed of. Oh, you're telling me you fucked up, you made a mistake. Oh, you know, Carmelia, you did drugs and you hung out with 6 guys and you got a little crazy. Guess what? Everybody has an issue. All right, it was really 7, but I gave you a break. I mean, you know what I mean? Everybody's got a freaking, everybody's got a story. The,
Yeah.
the thing is, okay, you feel what you feel a way about it. So what do you want to do about it?
That's it.
What do you
That's
want to
it.
do about it?
That's the only right question.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's unpack these feelings. I don't care what you did. It only matters what you do today.
That's it.
Mike, there's a great quote, and I'm going to share this with you because I think I have a minuscule understanding of where you're at. You know, don't tell me what you did. You're not as good as your last trade, Mike. You're only as good as your next trade, brother.
Yeah.
What's your next trade?
Yeah, I love that.
I don't care what you did. I did it too.
Yeah. That's
Right? I
good.
don't. Some guys they're still talking about stuff. I'm like, when did that happen? They're like, oh, 91. I'm like, bro, it was 35 years ago.
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
So
I'm
you're
with you.
telling me you were a stud in 1991, and now you what? You're still
Yeah.
talking about it?
Yeah, there you
It's an
go.
embarrassment.
Yeah, that's good.
So, so you're only as good as your next trade, and
Amen.
when I do something and I make my mind to do something, I put it out into the world. And some people say it's manifestation. You know what? That's a word I've come to learn. I've been manifesting my whole life, but this without realizing what I was doing. But the truth is, I want you to hold me accountable. Wait a minute, Ross. You said you were going to do this.
That's
I had a
it.
conversation with one of my guys today. He's been a mastermind client. He's now going to be the CEO of a new company we're launching in a couple of weeks called Raw Health.
Raw
Raw
health.
Health. Raw Health. And there'll be a Raw Wellness. And
Yeah.
I want to give back. I want to be in an industry now that has a real screaming need. In America, every 11 seconds, somebody takes their own life.
Yeah, I know.
That's unacceptable to me.
Yeah, it
I
is.
can't believe that's not the biggest headline on TV. Every 11 seconds, somebody takes their own life.
Eight,
So,
80% of suicides in America come from men.
yeah, men, yes. And it's largely because of women.
Well,
So,
that's
Hey now, hey now.
I'm being honest. If I could be
Yeah.
honest, the
yeah,
men I
but
speak to and myself, my heart's been broken into little bits already.
yeah.
It's like
My dad gave me the best advice ever. So my dad he's not saying much, but he said once something that I remember to this day. He said, Mike, everything a man does is to get a better woman.
exactly,
That's
exactly. That's why you saw the social network with Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook story. That
yeah,
whole thing was created because he wanted to impress a girl.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you guys are talking about women now. Let's get real about then the impact that something like this happens when and speaking to that point, when a man commits suicide because he can't deal with failure or shame or loss or his own dignity or ego, or he doesn't know where he belongs in the world or not feeling good enough. How did you deal with the impact of the choices and the circumstance that led you to where you were in your darkest moment? How did that impact your relationships, and how did you recover from that?
I didn't answer your last question about
Yeah,
losing. So first
yeah.
I lost my reputation, right? And then I lost a great deal of freedom. I had to give up my passport. My family each had to give up their passports, even though they had nothing to do with anything. And they slowly but surely closed the nets around you. The whole time they're looking for you to make a deal. They're looking for you to just say, "I'm guilty." Whether you're guilty or not, they don't care. Because once they've made that decision, they can't now go back to their supervisor and say, "We fucked up.
Mm,
Mandel's really a decent guy. He didn't do anything wrong." They can't go back. The guy that actually indicted me the day after I was arraigned in federal court, the day after he was gone. Josh Goldberg walked out and took $1 million job and has spent the last 15 years bragging about who he indicted me, even though it was based all on a lie. And the special agent in charge is now the head of security at Goldman Sachs. What a shock! Just so you guys know, what a shock.
Mm-hmm.
But and these are facts, and I could give names. I've been advised lately just to stop giving names because I put the names everywhere because it's true and it's fact. But I'll spare them today. But
yeah.
so you understand, I you start to lose everything. I'll never forget the day. I was actually arraigned, and we came back to the an apartment. We had an apartment in Manhattan. I was with my wife, and she's in the other room on the internet. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck. It's like a bomb went off in my life, and I did nothing wrong. And I'm like, this can't, how could this be? Like I'm talking to God, and she comes out of the room and in the back room, and she says, "I don't even know you." This is the woman that I've been with for 20 years, who knows everything about me, who actually worked for me, but she read so much about me. I was in 130 newspapers that day because I was an
Shit.
international banker. I do worldwide business, and so now I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with the people that I love the most in the world, and I've been, as a man, my job is to provide, to protect, to care for, to oversee, etc. And so,
Wow,
so I
Russ.
lost my family to a large degree, and then of course eventually I go to prison. And the lawyers are like, "Don't worry, I will get you out. You'll be there no more than 4, 5, 6 months tops." Yeah, sure, okay. That's what they told P Diddy. That's
Shit.
you want to talk about shysters that should be on the other side of the lawyers. But so I spent millions of dollars on legal fee. $23 million at my trial was revealed. the
$23
prosecutor.
million.
On legal fees, I spent trying to make sure everything was right. That's some criminal I am.
Holy shit.
They should all be tried and convicted. So, Camellia, when you finally go to prison, I'm more like I'm dazed more than anything. I'm just trying to figure out now. I'm a 58-year-old man. Luckily, I can take care of myself. I'm a big kid, but I walk in. I'm with two giant black men, very fit, that had started out at the penitentiaries and worked their way down to this lower security. And it was not easy.
Were you 53 when you went in?
50. Let me tell you exactly. 58.
58.
58 years old.
Holy shit, bro.
And I had been living I walked out of a 10,000 square foot, 11 bedroom house,
Fuck
seven
me.
bedrooms. And, we lived in Trump Tower. I had a house in London, the most expensive area in London, in Belgravia. I had a beach house on Long Island for many, many years where my kids were raised and grew up. And so now I'm in
Into a cell, a
a
shared cell.
66 square foot cell.
Fuck.
I'm the
Shit.
lowest bunk. It's a 3-tiered bunk bed.
Shit. 3 dudes
And
in one cell?
yeah, which by the way has been illegal for 25 years in America. But the BOP says they're transitioning to comply with the law, which is now maximum 2 men in a cell. So they've been transitioning to nobody lies more than the United States government, just so you know. But what it's they make the rules. I fought the United States government, in the United States. Imagine what this guy Maduro's thinking this morning. Maduro was running a country. He lived in a fortress. He had 32 Cuban killers surrounding him. And we walked in the middle of the night and killed 100 people and took them out. Now he's in a holding cell where I was. Okay, in New York, getting ready to go. And by the way, it's the same district, the Southern District of New York, that is going to try him and convict him. And so he'll be housed eventually. He's going to find his way to FCI Miami, where they put me, because that's where they put Noriega when they SEAL teams went into Panama in the middle of the night and took another president of a country. This is the United States of America. We can do whatever we want. Our government can do whatever it wants. Trump is now flexing muscles, which is why I'm so bullish on what's about to happen with all the markets and asset classes around the world. There's going to be more wealth created in the next 12 months than ever before in the combined history of everything. And most people don't really understand that. Most pros don't even get
Oh,
that.
God, Russ, I'll call you, man. I'll call you. Tell me what
I
to do.
I
Yeah.
I promise you. I promise you. Everybody in my mastermind is now like flush. I'm going to just say they're flush as could be. I'm really talented when it comes to that kind of thing. But so I'm never beaten. I'm just a guy that's so okay. So, it's like a game of football. I'm losing 56-0. I'm in the fourth inning. Guess what? I'm going to get it back. So they took 65 million from me, hard money. They cost me another 200 or 300 million from because of what happened. So I feel like they owe me about, I don't know, 300-400 million. So I'm building a media company,
Yes, you should.
doing this kind of thing with you guys is part of it, because for the first time in human history, 8 billion people on this rock we call Earth, we're all connected. For the first time in human history, thanks to satellites, guys like Elon Musk, Starlink, and social media, think about what they're doing. But I found out recently there's over 110 different languages in the world. But this year, because of AI, it's going to disappear. My content's already in Hindi, in Portuguese, in Spanish. Meta tells me I'll be in 110 languages by sometime during 26. And it's really me speaking Hindi. I have
Yeah.
friends that Hindi.
Yeah.
They said, bro, that's you. And same thing with Portuguese. I got a lot of Brazilian women saying, Russ, bro, that's you, baby.
All
It's
right, Ross,
very
hold on.
funny.
Let's give a timeout right here just for people who are joining in and tuning in for the first time. If you are just joining us, this conversation is about how men rebuild trust, character, discipline after adversity. Ross Mandel is joining us. He does have a school on a going public mastermind, and we're hosting this on Manup Monday, where you can learn more about Mike Rador's 6-step framework to discipline. And you can, what's the trigger word for people to learn about your framework, Mike? What can they DM you?
Framework or discipline?
Framework or discipline, you can do that. And for Ross, you can check out his going public mastermind. Wow, what a conversation.
I have a podcast called Going Public, just so you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the podcast.
Which
Yes,
you
I was
have been
listening.
on, Carmelia. You have
Yes.
been a guest.
Yes, I have. And beautiful, beautiful setting. Love it. Love
Dick
the
Reed, I
media.
want you to reach it. DM me. Join my Instagram and DM me, and I'll give you my 5 stocks. I'll show you how to make some real money in the next, not 6 months, in the next 6 weeks. We're
There you go.
printing money right now. We're printing money. I'm going to be candid. Now, it won't always be like that. We're going to have a huge correction sometime in 26, and I'll make more money, and you'll make more money in that correction than you'll make for the whole year on the long side. Everybody trades from the short side. If you're a professional, if you own a firm, if you own a bank, there's no such thing as going long. You know, you trade from the short side because you are the market. You can always get it cheaper. No matter what you guys think you can get, I know how to get it cheaper for you. So I'll make a long story short. Great question, Camila. I am not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. Mike, you said earlier, I own it. I own my story, even though it's a lot of bullshit. It's a scam. I'm a disruptor, and that's why they put me away. And they tried to break me, and that's one thing they can't do, right? They can't do. You know, the people that I love the most in the world, they can break me because they're in my heart. If I give my heart to you, I give you the chance to break it, and that's why it's
Wow.
a big deal. And by the way, they broke it. It's been broken, shattered, but it always heals back a little stronger. It's like every other muscle in your body, right? When
Yeah.
you lift weights, you micro tear everything, and then it heals up even stronger and better. But here's the thing: you have to have an unshakable faith in a higher power. I choose to call God. It's a 3-letter word. It means a lot. It's very controversial today, the word God, and but not for me. Whether you call it an energy that Einstein posited that we're all just energy in different forms, it's been proven already. It's a physical law of the universe. Um, uh, I have a indomitable faith because of my Creator as to where I'm going. And I haven't met a human being that when they were young, when they were little, and they would look up at the sky and say that they felt special. Because I believe everybody's gifted, everybody's special. There's a little bit of God in everybody. But, you have access to that God. All the things that I think Mike talks about, he's just getting in touch with his inner God, his that piece of God, and this is his destiny. I mean, to be great, to be the best. I tell my kids, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, be great. Be
Yes.
great or don't do it. I say, look, how you do anything is how you do everything. I
Amen.
live by that principle. How you do anything is how you do everything. When I wipe down my counter, okay, and then I start walking away and I see a streak, and I say, can I just walk away? I walk away, and they say, no, I got to go back because, what the fuck?
That's right.
What the fuck?
That's
Now I
right.
have to know that it'll take up, space in my head. And I'm not ADHD or any of those different things. I got my own peculiar stuff. But, so how you do anything is how you do everything. So be great. Strive for great. Tom Brady talks about this.
Yes,
You
he
just got
do.
to do what the other guy won't do. You got to get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym and get in the ice bath and not eat that cake or that ice cream.
So,
You
so
know?
what is the mindset? What was your identity, and how did it have to shift going from the luxury apartment, 10,000 square foot, to the reality that you're in this triple bunk bed room in a 666 space and having no idea when you're gonna come out? What I can't even imagine what that does to you, but there's a certain amount of resilience that has to happen. And for you being where you are today, right now, I mean, first of all, I commend you, but what did that do to your identity? What tips can you give to someone who is in that situation?
So, one of the scariest things ever is when they handed me my paperwork. I walked into prison September the 10th, 2014. You know, they have a nurse check you out and all that stuff, and you bring medical records. They don't give a shit. They just want to make sure you don't have anything that's going to contaminate everybody. They hope you die. They actually hope the BOP is the lowest form of. It's acknowledged that it's the worst government, association to be a part of. But on my paperwork, when you walk in, you get a set of paperwork, and that's really the only way they look at you. You're just a number now. You're nothing. If you were a doctor, a lawyer, it doesn't matter. Politics doesn't matter. Ross Mandel, you're just a fucking number. 62490. I could go. So make a long story short, you see my departure date. It says 110 of 25. It's September 10th of 2014. I'm looking around. I'm going, I don't know how I'm going to make it to 2015.
Shit.
And it's 2025. You know, there's guys that have life sentences and their paperwork, you know what it says, the latest date of departure? It says deceased.
Holy
Now,
shit.
I've coached many of them. I've had the experience of being in a cell with two guys that were sentenced to death, by the way. That's a separate story. And I helped both of them get reduced to life because their lawyers were inept, and I was stuck with them, and I helped them, and they were sentenced to death. They're murderers. They killed people, like right in front of everyone. They just killed people very openly, and they're dangerous people. I'm going to say it like that, but they're still people, and they were very scared. Once I got to know them a little teeny bit, I noticed they were really just people that were scared shit, and that's why they strike out, because they're just terrified inside. And so when I saw that, I said, I'll never make it. And one thing I learned about, and I was very much in AA for many, many years, over 30 years, and um, they talk about one day at a time. You can do anything for one day. God, created this one day at a time concept, and it's if you look at God, the creation in Genesis, in the beginning of the Old Testament. He talks about, and in day one, God created, light. And he saw light was good. Let there be light. God created, the waters and the firmament and all these different things. He broke everything up into days. And I think that's a good message for us, that you can do anything. I often thank God that a day is only 24 hours. Some days I felt like I couldn't survive. And many days I said, I don't want to wake up.
Wow.
I'm too selfish and scared. I'm too arrogant to take my own life. But I pray to God, I don't want to wake up tomorrow.
Wow.
I prayed to God many times. And I've asked many people, have you experienced that? And most people say no. I used to think everybody felt that way. But no, it's like, it's an extreme. And so, when I walked into that cell at first, I was dazed. But I was also like walking around like a child. I'm like observing everything, looking around. I've never experienced anything like this. So I look at everything as an experience. Everything is an experience. I'm actually a much deeper man. Having, a lot of people say, "Oh, I've climbed the highs, I lived the lows." You don't know shit. Until they fucking stick you in a fucking, in a federal prison for 10 years and take
Yeah.
everything away from you and your family.
Yeah.
Everything they take away. When Camille, they take away everything. You got nothing. Everything now you have to start clawing back. You got to get, an outfit that fits you, shoes that, you could walk in without breaking your feet. And you got to, try and get a pillow.
So
You fighting.
you were leveled, like you came in probably, I don't know how the system works. I don't know the
Holy shit.
hierarchy. You just came in and then had to, like, whatever reputation you had in the past didn't mean shit, right? Like you had to
Well,
earn whatever.
honestly, it's very interesting because everybody in prison today has a cell phone. 1 in 3 people. It's illegal, but they have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't have one, you rent one or borrow one. Everybody has access to a cell phone. They can't do anything. If not, drones are flying in, dropping shit. I mean, imagine these officers
Really?
make these officers
Wow.
make 50,000 a year, and they can make 250,000 just bringing in some cell phones and some drugs, and they do. So, yeah, I lost everything. I literally had to start from zero. how to get a laundry bag, commissary, something to eat, a snack. The food is, for 2 days, I didn't eat a thing. It's so disgusting. And, by the third or fourth day, you got to eat, right? But I mean, it's disgusting.
Shit.
My dogs wouldn't have eaten it.
Shit.
Wow.
I'm not joking. I'm not
No,
exaggerating.
I
It's
know.
that
I can't. I don't know if
And
I'm
it
laughing
never
because it
got
sounds so
better. It
crazy.
never got better for 10 years. It was shit food.
no, things get better. Eventually, I'll tell you, my last place, I was having Chinese food 2, 3 days a week. You learn how to play the game, and you send money around. And next thing you go, guys cook for you. Guys bring in chicken wings from Publix or from Wingstop, and you know, uh, there's all the great cooks in prison. When you first go in, you don't know any of these things.
Yeah.
You have to learn everything. You have to learn how to survive, how to get along, to get by, to get along, and all these different. You're recreating your life from
Are you
zero.
are you being tested when you're in there? Other men, are they testing you?
100%. But let me tell you, so everybody had a cell phone, and people were googling me,
Oh
and
shit.
a lot of people were like blown away. And I'll tell you what, this is a crazy story. Quickly, I walk in, these two
Oh, don't be
big.
quick. This is good. Don't be
Yeah,
quick.
this is
There's
great.
two very big, very fit black guys.
Shit.
And I'm 5'9", 220 at the time. And I'm fighting. I'm an MMA fighter for 6 years. And I can bench press 400 pounds. And I can squat 500, all these different things, right? But I go in and I'm like, I can't believe it. And you go around, they give you a laundry bag. They give you a couple of uniforms, a pair of boots, some medical shit. And they give you this paperwork. They signed me to this cell. Turns out I was in the worst unit in the worst cell. And it was just all done on purpose, by the way.
Shit.
Because
Shit.
I was very arrogant. I insulted the judge on national television. I said, "You're not a judge, you're just a rubber stamp. You'd be ashamed of yourself." And I called the prosecutors' names and all that, and they showed me, right? But I don't know. I'm just assigned to a cell. I go into the cell, these two black guys say, "Put your paperwork on the desk and go take a fucking walk."
Oh shit.
And I'm like, I'm in prison for an hour.
Shit.
And I'm like, fellas, I was assigned this cell in that bunk. Put your paperwork on the desk and take a fucking walk.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
You've seen the movies, right? I'm
Yeah.
thinking I got to hit this guy, and I would have hurt him. It would have been bad. But you know what? This is not what I wanted to start. Right? It was almost done by. So I think, all right, let me just. What do you mean take a walk? Just put your paperwork down here on the desk. They're pointing down and go take a little walk out the door. Like I'm an idiot, right? Okay. So I put the paperwork down, drop my shit, and I walk out. As soon as I walk out, three big white boys come at me.
No.
One guy's about 6'2.5", maybe 250, solid steel. I'm
Shit.
big, he's big. He puts his arm around me, all the way around. His forearm is the size of my thigh,
Holy
and he
shit.
says, "Bro, we didn't know you were coming in today. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. We don't mix race here. We'll get you out of here by tonight or tomorrow." And I'm like thinking, oh my God. I literally walked out of the guy, literally walked out of the cell, puts his arm around my neck, and I look down and he's got a giant SWAT sticker on his forearm.
Fuck.
And I'm Jewish.
Shit.
One of the funny things is I just had the head of the Nazi party for 20 years on my podcast the other day. A guy named Jeff Scoop. Head of the biggest Nazi party in America for 22 years. But this guy has got his arm around me and I'm like, okay.
Fuck.
Shit.
And then
Fuck.
I turn around. I turn around. I go back into the cell,
Holy shit.
and these two guys are like, "Ross, sorry about that, bro. You're welcome. You're welcome here." They're shaking my hand. One guy starts unpacking my laundry bag and making my bed. I never seen anybody, make a bed like that. I mean, this was like, this guys. Both these guys had started in the penitentiary. One guy was already in jail 14 years. The other guy already in 9 years. And if you're good, you work your way down in security level. But they were max security at first. Guns, drugs, violence, all that. And so I'm like, okay, my name's Mike. My name's Henry. Mike, Henry, little shout out, fellas. And we're good, great friends as of today. We've been great. They're like my brothers for a long time now.
Did you move
I
cells or did you stick with them?
No, I'll tell you. So I'm at this cell. So I said to them, guys, what happened? What do you mean? Well, you guys were a little tense about me. So Mike says, listen, me and Henry have both been down many years. We came from the penitentiary. He goes, today when an older white guy comes to federal prison, 90% of the time he's a rat or a chomo. I said, oh. He goes, well, we read your paperwork. We know you're a good guy. You're okay. You could bunk with us.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
thinking, all right. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I know what a rat is, and I'm not a rat. I didn't even make a plea deal. I'm still suing the government. I'm fighting the government. By the way, I'm still fighting the government. I'm now on my last year of probation. So to make a long story short, I said, I know what a rat is. I'm not a rat. What's a chomo? They both look at each other. Child molester.
Oh shit.
And
Oh.
I said, you guys know what? This is my first day. I said, I wouldn't bunk with a child molester either. And the
No.
guy actually makes my bed and shows me a few things and puts things away for me and all that. You have nothing, right? But the guy happened to run a store, a prison store. That's a whole nother story. But so I could talk about prison forever. So that began. So then the guy says to me, listen, bro, I got 20 years for 12 grand and a gun. You stole 140 million without a gun. Can you teach us how to do it? That's the mindset. The government claims I was accused of $140 million. So,
I,
you know,
did I tell you I'm moving to America? I can't wait to meet you guys. You guys are crazy.
where are you today, Mike? Where are you located physically?
So I'm between Dubai and Spain, but I'm gonna come to America end of this month.
It's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
It's a good place to have a spot, by the way. Yes,
Yeah.
but Dubai, where in Barcelona? Where in
No,
Spain?
in Spain in Marbella, South Coast. I've lived there for 5 years.
Oh, I had a great week at the Marbella Club once.
Oh yeah, I could imagine. I could
But
imagine.
we can't discuss that here.
Mike,
You know that?
he's just the same in person, and you were just
No,
so
I feel him. This
yeah.
I'm not even doubting. I'm with him. I'm
Yeah,
with you, bro.
I love the new terminology. I'm authentic. That's the thing. I just got a thing from Facebook. They said I'm authentic and I have real authority. They like
Right.
my financial posting. I guess they did some sort of workup. I don't know what it is, but I rate very high in authenticity and in authority when it comes to four particular categories. I've been told now, so that's good.
That's very
Well,
But
good.
can you share what you're doing in school and how you're helping people now coming out of your situation?
So, my theory was like this. I came out and I studied the landscape. There's no such thing as a regulated business in America anymore. No such thing. It's either not regulated or overregulated. No such thing as regulated. It's overregulated. They chomp it at the bit. The guys that are political hacks, they go in, they get these assignments, and they just want to get into your business and profit and put their hands in your pockets. All these different things. You know, what we're doing now is completely unregulated. It's unregulated, and it's going to stay unregulated while Trump's president. My guess is in 3 years they'll start regulating all this stuff. But once you get to a certain level, you want the regulation. What regulation in business means, they start to put gates around it so nobody can get in. All of a sudden, they have committees and organizations, associations, and dues and fees, and you got to apply. You need a license and approvals and 8 zillion things, right? That's just how business works in the world, but especially in America because they've refined the practice of business here.
Mm.
And so, I looked at social media and I looked at a lot of people online talking about a lot of shit, talking a lot of guff, and they don't know shit. Most of these guys never made $5 in the real world.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are not real men. Most of these guys never did shit. They're all sort of, figured out a way to sell a package that's been made for social media. I'm the real fucking deal. Like people say to me, they said, if they had social media in the 80s and 90s, you'd be a Kardashian. because I was wild. I used to party and make money, and I was a rock star with the hottest clubs, the hottest women, the most exciting things. Then I get sober, in 1990, and now I'm leading, Wall Street sobriety movement. I built the first sober brokerage firm. I ended up meeting the woman of my dreams. I get married. I have kids. Now I'm doing the married Wall Street thing and joining all the clubs and, the right places and the right vacations. When you run into Beyonce and Jay-Z on three different vacations, you're probably in the right spots, right?
Yeah,
Simon
wow.
Cowell, I'm buddies with all these people because, we used to all party together on vacation, but with my children and all that. And then prior to that, I was hanging out with guys like Mickey Rourke, doing drugs and
Oh,
playing
really? Make you
cards.
rook, man.
Oh,
That
Wow.
yeah,
must have been
doing
fun. Oh my God.
at
He's a
mafia
wild
get
man.
listen at mafia gambling dens, snorting cocaine and all kinds of crazy wild stuff going on all night, playing cards, 100 grand, on the table, all these crazy things, but all illegal, under the table, a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, a lot of loose women, that sort of thing, you know. And so I have, I've had a robust sort of run, as a married guy, as a wild, you know, partying type young guy, and now I'm single, which is I'm finding very interesting. And but I managed to bring my family back together, and I see a major opportunity in this space because it's unregulated. We have access to 8 billion people, and we'll all pretty soon anywhere in the world. Some little kid in India or Pakistan is going to open his phone. He's going to see Mike Rador in his native tongue in Farsi, in Hebrew, in French, in Hindi, in Mandarin, anywhere in the world. You pick up your phone, and then Meta is going to be recommending you, or Google and YouTube and all these different things. It's unregulated. There's no barrier to entry. I said I'm fucking in. I'm a convicted felon now. What do I want to do? Sell insurance? Go fuck yourself. I want to pitch guys like Mike to fly on private jets. Fuck you. Not my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I got it.
There's got to be at least a couple of million people in this world, young men, that could use what I could share. And so I started a school account just recently. It's completely free. My school community, it costs you nothing. And now I'm doing a subscription thing on Facebook. They recommend 99 cents a month. I figure anybody can afford that. I said okay, and I'm going to share private content. I do a financial rant. I recommend stocks. I talk about the market, what I did for 30 years every day, and they paid me tens of millions of dollars, and I earned hundreds of millions. And I'm building a company called Raw Media. You could look at rawmediaofficial.com. I'm going to be publishing this book. You can see it. It's called Blind Greed. It's the story of Lawrence Scott Hartman, who, by the way, was my cellie after I left Mike and Henry. Carmelia asked me earlier, right? Did I stay in that cell 10 months?
Hmm.
But then I lived with this guy for 2 years and another guy, a hedge fund manager. We had the only $1 billion cell at FCI Miami, where they'll be housing Mr. Maduro and his wife soon. So Blind Greed, we're producing a movie starring Michael Capon and directed by Michael, co-producing in the Philippines. We're in pre-production right now. Book is available on Amazon right now. Audio book, ebook, the whole thing. And we're working on a big publishing deal. A lot of people want my story,
Yeah.
and I've been negotiating with the same people that did The Wolf of Wall Street because it's like a real cult movie right now. The whole world wants to see more, and I was really the next level, and I was really the first. I mean, in the movie where he wakes up one day and Forbes does this big story on him called The Wolf of Wall Street, that never happened. They took that from my story. One day Forbes produced a story called The Bad Boy of Wall Street.
No fucking way.
Yeah, May of '05 it came out. May of '05. I have it here if you want to see it.
Oh,
Uh,
that's
I
right.
uh,
love the site. I love the site. It looks amazing. The whole,
rawmediaofficial.com,
yeah,
you'll see.
looks great.
Um, Raw Health is coming in about 2 weeks or less. We had a meeting early this morning about it. I told them I want it 1 week from today. And we're going to use the media arm to promote things that we think I'm a do-gooder now. I was trained by the greatest, most accomplished guys in the history of Wall Street. All my contemporaries, and I mean this very sincerely, are living on private islands now, $50 million homes. They're all billionaires. Nobody's worth less than a half a billion. Unfortunately, the government came and disrupted me because I wouldn't bow down maybe or bend over at the right time with the right people. I'm a disruptor. And I didn't commit any crime. I promise you. And I have done many things in my life. I'm guilty of many things. What they convicted me of and charged me with didn't even happen in the real world. Completely nonsensical. But they made a narrative. And they know it too. The powers that be know all that. Everybody looks at my case knows it's a joke. I'm the season finale on American Greed of season 9. It's called The Sky's the Limit. Most important federal case in the year 2011 when I went to trial. And that's because of the extraterritorial application of the United States securities laws. When Congress makes securities laws here, do they apply to stock exchanges everywhere in the world? The government maintained that they do. That we are the policemen of the world. The London Stock Exchange said, "Fuck you. We've been here 100 years before you, and you don't tell us what's legal." Mr. Mandel did nothing wrong, and even the Supreme Court took my side. Supreme Court said the extraterritorial, unless laws are specifically designed to apply around the world, it's assumed they do not. Right, like piracy laws. The maritime laws. You can't just go grab an ocean liner because it's in open waters. We have maritime laws specifically made for outside territory, outside the United States. My case was about the extraterritoriality, and the government said, well, essentially, after the Supreme Court ruled against them, they said, well, Mr. Mandel had a big headquarters on Wall Street. So he had a nexus on Wall Street. So it really happened in America. It's like a big scam. Everybody knows it was a scam.
Ross, I gotta say this when I listened to you. I got a message coming my way the other day from a friend of mine. He said, "Mike, this is for you." And the message said, "When you hang with me, you gotta watch out because I'm gonna brainwash you into thinking you can do anything." And when I'm listening to you, you're that guy.
Well, I can be very persuasive.
No, but this
I've
is a
done,
this is a gift. So that's
yes,
I'm just quiet. I just looked at the. It's been an hour now. I felt like it was 10 minutes.
thank you. I want to just say this, and this is for the audience, anybody listening. I've been highly trained. I'm very much practiced, rehearsrsed. That's why I take issue with a lot of guys that talk about how to sell so I'm going to turn you into a great salesman. I want to teach you how to become objections. All this kind of crazy. I listened to some of these people. They couldn't sell a paper bag in the real world. They couldn't sell you $1 for 20 cents in the real world. But on social media, they sound, so people are spending all their money, throwing out money. A lot of these so-called coaches, they don't coach anything. In the real world, they've never accomplished much. Mike, from what I understand, I can't wait to, podcast with you because the people that know you say you're the fucking man.
Thank you.
That you're brilliant and that you're accomplished and you've created some really successful things in the real world. Plus, you're very good looking and you're very disciplined and all these good things. So it's an honor to be here with you. And Carmelia, you just look at her. It speaks for itself. Women are so lucky; they don't have to say anything.
Thank you, Ross. I appreciate it, man. I'm coming, man. I'm definitely go to a podcast with you for sure. It's gonna
I
be a good
can't
time.
Yeah,
wait.
this was too short. And guys, these are the types of speakers and energy and thought leaders that we bring into Man Up Mondays. We really only want the best. And to that point, we're gonna continue our conversation with you, Ross, offline because what I see a lot of synergy here. I think you see that with the media company that you're building. We definitely I'll be going into your school for sure. The 99 cents. Can I sign up for 10 years in advance? Like, what's the deal here?
We'd be
We
happy to
love this.
accommodate you.
Yeah, of course.
It would be a privilege. I would probably pay you to join my
Yeah.
you
I'm
know.
coming back. I told you I'm coming back. I love the
Oh,
site.
come
It's
on,
great.
guys listening, man. This is Ross, man. This is a real deal. You can't people listen. You gotta listen to this dude, man. Shit, yeah, this is too short. I'm coming to America.
Are you blown away, Mike? Are you
Yeah, I'm
happy
blown
that
away.
Mike's
Didn't you
gonna
see
come
me?
in?
I was stuck. I was like, it was better than Netflix. I was just looking.
You know what I always say, Mike? Value recognizes value. Greatness recognizes greatness. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's just it's if you don't get it, you don't get it. I mean,
nah,
you don't belong. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? You just don't belong if you don't get it. But when I meet talent, I see talent. It's I recognize it right off the rip.
Mm,
So it's been a privilege to be here. I want you guys to both know that,
thank you, man.
and I can't wait to get to know you better. I use the podcast essentially to meet people that I want to meet. My team, uh, we isolate value people that we think could be meaningful because we're building something meaningful. My intention is a year from right now, we'll be looking to go public on the stock market and make $1 billion prints. Now, a lot of people talk, guff. I see, oh, I'm going to go public. I'm going to this, some of that. I've taken over 100 companies public. According to the United States government, it's closer to 150. But more importantly, I've taken myself public twice. And now, where I'm at in my life, I get great comfort. I only have to make one more big print. You don't understand how I used to feel like I had to do one every month my whole life. I have to make one more print. I tell this to my team. Is there any doubt that I'm going to make that print? And
Nah,
it's going to be a massive print. I'm letting you know, so you understand.
yeah, I
This
get you.
story, this story, Blind Greed, is beyond belief. It's
Is
for,
it available and is it out, or are you just
you can
showing
get
us?
you can, well, no, you can get it on Amazon right now. You can order them for
Everyone,
ninety
go on
nine.
Amazon, get that book. I'm getting
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
There's also an
Great.
ebook. There's an ebook, an audio book. I mean, all these different. I have a podcast called Going Public with Ross Mandel on YouTube. It's the real Ross Mandel. But of course, I'm on every platform. I just signed a big deal with Podgo. Tristan, I hope you're listening. Alex, Podgo is going to be a huge thing if you're in the podcast world. I just signed a big deal with Misuku Media. They handle my Facebook now. They're monetization specialists. They got guys making 100, 150 grand a month. Real, it's like Wall Street kind of money.
Yeah,
Just on
and Ross,
Facebook.
we're gonna send you the first chapter, a couple of chapters of Mike's upcoming book, Man Up.
Let's go.
And yeah, let's go. And we'd love to have your either a foreword or whatever you think about authentically
Endorsement,
what
that
you
would be
bring.
great.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I'm already a fan of Mike's. I have to say,
Okay.
I'm already a fan. More so today
Okay.
than I was before. I'm a fan,
Great.
bro.
Yeah, man,
I'm a real
likewise,
fan.
Ross. You got a new one, man. Thank you, appreciate it.
I see your traps popping through your sweater.
Yeah.
Carmelia, I don't know if you see that. You
Hey, you
see the
know what?
way
He has a big wolf on his back.
you see
Can we
how the
show it?
shoulder
Yeah, yeah, you
girdle?
can see
Yeah,
that.
show him. Woo!
Look
Here
at
we
those
go.
fucking traps.
You can see that.
Holy fuck.
There it is.
Check that out.
Wow, bro.
Keep
That's
it
some
there. We're gonna take a
artwork.
picture. Look at
Yeah.
that.
That's some artwork.
Yeah,
Man, I
yeah.
took it. I tell you a quick story before we ended up here. But so I flew in my tattoo artist, and he uh, he didn't show me he was nervous because we only had 3 days, and I didn't know. So
Wow.
and then I was supposed to borrow a massage bench, lay down and get it comfortable, but that was broken. So I sat for 2 days in a row for 12-hour sessions on a chair with no pain medicine. But I
Wow.
figured out a way. That's what I mean. I figured out a way. You put in music, you don't give more pain, and you just go with the rhythm, and you're done. When we
Yep.
were Russ,
Always welcome
listen. So
pain.
when we done, I see my tattoo artist. He does like this. Oh, Jesus! I said, "What the fuck's wrong with you, bro?" He said, "I didn't think you would make it. I don't people that don't make it." I said, "I'm happy you didn't say that to me."
He was probably wiped out. He was exhausted. You think he
Yeah, he
ever
was
had three
souped.
12-hour days like that?
Nah, he was done. He was done.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
That's a great story, man.
yeah, that was good.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what is
That's the
the
mindset
story?
that this guy has.
What's the
He's his
story
own expert.
behind that tattoo? What does that mean to you?
So I'm really a fan of the wolf because the wolf is a killer, but it's also a pack leader and is very respectful. I found my manhood. I found that in ancient wisdom, in principles, And so I'm a fan of the tribal icons around it. In the top, there is a sun with my daughter's name. He sees my Y. That's why I
Wow.
do. That's what I do, and that's why I wanted to put it on my back.
That's beautiful, man. That's so beautiful. Yep. And the wolf always respects its elders, and it's
Yeah,
a vicious hunter, but it's a great animal. You know, it lives by a certain set of principles
yeah,
in like the wild, which is amazing. That's great. What a great story, bro.
yeah. Thank you, Russ.
A really great. You're a special guy, Carmelia. You're a very special lady.
Thank you.
All right.
What a special
And
gal.
by the way, I have to shout out Dr. Monica for, I always want to credit where relationships start from. We're always 6 degrees away. So to Dr. Monica, who opened the door, to you, who I opened the door to Mike, and it's all synergistic. Love her, love you, thank you. We feel the same way about you. And sad to have it end, but I'm sure you'll be back and would love to welcome you into Mike's community of the Brotherhood would be blown away if you had a chance to speak to
Oh
them,
God,
right?
Russ.
I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm
All
in.
right.
Right.
All
Just,
right,
Yay.
Russ. I'll
just
shoot you a text when I'm close to arriving to Miami, and then we'll sit down. We'll have a good talk.
yeah.
He's in
I
Fort
want to make
Lauderdale.
sure. I want to make sure we put you on the schedule. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Okay. So I'll just when I have I'm going to get my visa tomorrow, and then I'll know when my flights are booked. I'll let you know then.
I love it. And then maybe you and I will go out for a night. We'll have dinner. We'll hang out.
Yeah, that'll be great, man. Be an honor.
We'll go out. We'll be like pack animals, right?
Yay.
I just want you to know that being a man of age right now, I know to step back. You're the alpha, bro.
I'm
You're the
good, bro.
alpha.
I'm good.
You're
I'm good.
going. You're going through the door first.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh.
I'll go to the door.
I'm in the back.
You're
All
so
right, man.
graceful. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you so
Thank you,
much, Ross.
everyone.
Really, really. God
Thank
bless
you,
you. Thank you
guys.
so much for sharing.
It was really a privilege. It was a privilege. So thank you all so much. I
Okay.
look forward to seeing you again. Hit me up when
All
you
right.
can.
All right, Ross. Take care, man. And bye,
All right,
everyone. Thank you so
guys.
much for listening in.
Bye.
Bye,
See you
Ross. Bye,
later.
Bye,
Camellia.
guys.
Bye, guys.